Hey everybody, welcome back into another episode of WSAZ Sports Plus. Welcome back into the WSAZ Now studio. Check out that camera shot. We can actually show you what this studio looks like. We got some new upgrades in here. Microphones are nice and new. We've got our cameras bolted down, and whenever we get Keith and Jimmy in here, you're going to be able to see a more aerial shot of all three of us talking as opposed to just these talking head shots that you're used to. Hey, they serve their purpose. We'll take it, right? We love it. If you listen to or watch the last episode with Keith Morehouse and I, you'll remember we talked about some of the changes in Ohio with the playoff format. Also in West Virginia, the fact that the classification criteria has changed and has really been simplified. So we caught you up to speed on some of those changes coming as we inch closer and closer to football season. One big change that happened in West Virginia is the fact that the WVSSAC has a new man at the helm. That is Wayne Ryan. He has been with the WVSSAC for quite some time in many different capacities, but since July 1st, he's been doing this as the executive director. And guess what? He is our special guest on this episode. All right, joining me now is the new executive director of the WVSSAC, Wayne Ryan. Mr. Ryan, thank you for joining me today. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
All right, so you officially took over this position, what, July 1st?
July 1, yes.
July
Correct.
1st. So I know you've been with the SSAC for quite some time, but in this particular capacity, you've only been doing it for a little more than a month. So what has it looked like? Have you run into anything that you didn't account for yet?
Well, it's been a whirlwind, no doubt, because we brought on 3 new staff members and we added a new position, director of compliance, and we're really fully staffed in our office for the first time in 7 years. So we're excited about that. We're excited about having a director of compliance in Jason Midland. Dr. Jacqueline Swain came as an assistant director from St. Albans High School, and Chris Wells came as an assistant director from Ritchie County High School. And of course, Dan Comer worked along with me as an associate assistant director. So it's a lot of new people. But we're excited, and we've hit the ground running on July 1, which was actually our first day. We were actually in Chicago at a national conference for the National Federation of High School Sports. And then so our first day in the office was July 7th, and we're already on the regional principals meeting tour and the fall sports clinic tour. So we had to hit the ground running and be together and ready to roll by July 20. So it's been quick pace, but we feel good about what we've been able to get accomplished, and we have good goals moving forward.
Yeah. I want our viewers to get to know you a little bit, because I know you are a Summers County guy, correct?
That is correct.
Did some coaching
Born and
there.
raised.
You were an athletic director for some time. When someone says, who was Wayne Ryan, what do you tell them? Because right now we know you as the executive director of the SSAC, but you've done so much as it pertains to athletics here in our state.
Well, I hope my strength as executive director is that I have had a lot of roles. You know, I've been the parent of a very successful athlete. I have been an athlete. I've been the coach. I've been the school administrator. I've been a middle school coach, a high school coach, a middle school athletic director, a high school athletic director, assistant principal. I've worked in this office for 9 years and been over various sports and various other responsibilities in the office. So I hope that blend and that balance serves well in this position moving forward.
Yeah, you got to feel like when you have conversations with people that are in those roles that you've served in previously, you kind of understand where they're coming from, and that has to go a long way when it comes to solving problems. And I feel like that's probably a lot of what you're going to do and have been doing at the SSAC.
You kind of nailed it right there. I mean, obviously, I think, whether it's myself or the other members of the staff in the office, they have similar backgrounds and experiences too. And I think that's really important. We have to understand what the issues are we're dealing with. We have to understand it from our schools administrators' perspective, from our student athletes' perspective. And with the backgrounds that we have with the staff in the office, I think that really makes us well connected and understanding. The issue is, depending on what your role is, it always changes your perspective on the issue or the situation or even an athletic event. If you go to an athletic event and you're the parent, you approach the game and feel differently than if you're the official or if you're the game administrator. So it's really important that everybody understands their role, understands that we're all here to serve our students and to serve the sport and education-based athletics. We keep that in perspective. And so that's an important goal as we go. But I think this office has good experience and good background. And so I'm really excited about the staff that we've put in place.
What's the best thing going about high school athletics in West Virginia right now? We'll get to some of the issues that maybe you want to see improved upon or fixed, but what's the best thing we have going right now that you're excited about moving into this, upcoming school year and all of the sports that come along with it?
Right. Well, I mean, I think our school athletics is still the best show in town, because there are kids in our communities. And I think if you get out to events, you will see there's just a lot of lessons to be learned, a lot of life lessons, but there are a lot of great memories to be made. And I think the memories that these kids are making, they don't realize it as much right now, but when they look back, playing your high school sports is probably the most memorable times of your life. And I think that's the greatest thing we have to offer. And our job is to make sure that we keep those special, and we keep those school-based, and we keep those opportunities available for our student athletes because, we way overrate the ability to play at the next level as a priority. Is it something we're proud of in this state when our kids go on and play at the next level? Absolutely. But the majority of our high school athletes are not going to play athletics in college. What we want them to have is a great experience as a high school athlete.
When you look back at your coaching career or even just as an administrator, as a player, do those memories kind of flood back for you whenever you're at, say, the Coliseum in Charleston and you get to pass out one of the trophies to a state championship team or, at the softball tournaments and the baseball tournaments? Do those memories come back and you're like, man, it's different, but it also feels a little bit like it always did?
It really does. Certain venues and certain experiences that you handle in a different role really does spark your memories from the past. And I have outstanding memories, obviously, in the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center. I call it the Civic Center. A lot of success there. So it's a special place, and I can look at certain areas of the building and remember certain things that happened through the years with different experiences with different groups and different teams, and that's a pleasurable moment without a doubt. And I do enjoy watching the joy of our state tournaments and the old line, the thrill of competition. If you attend our state tournaments and if you can compare our state tournaments to other states around us, you'll know that we run tremendous state tournaments in West Virginia. And we're very proud of that. And we make sure our kids get a positive experience. Not everybody is going home with the championship trophy, but they're going home with a lifetime memory, and we want that to be good.
Sure. Well, let's switch to, maybe some things that you hope to improve upon. What might be the biggest issue that you'd like to tackle and either fix or just improve that's kind of plaguing the SSAC right now in your mind?
Well, I think without a doubt that simply is education. I think we're misunderstood by the public, by communities, by the state legislature, by a lot of stakeholders. We're misunderstood in what the SSAC really is. The SSAC is not this office building where we work. It's not the staff members we just talked about. The SSAC is our member schools, and it's our school administrators. And those school administrators, they meet and have an annual Board of Control meeting in which they make rules, change rules, and they direct the path. And then as an organization, our job here is to steer the ship. And, we have to enforce the rules. And everybody likes rules and regulations until they apply to them personally, and then they're not as happy. But our job is to serve the schools and work for the schools, and we're very happy to do that. But it's very misunderstood by the public what the SSAC is and what the power of the SSAC is. The power of the SSAC lies in our schools and our membership and our principals.
Yeah. I like the way that you put that because it's the same thing that I heard from Tim George at Spring Valley High School back earlier this year when we were talking about how the Board of Control got together and approved the new classification criteria. And he said the same thing. He said, we are the SSAC. It's all of us. It's the member institution. So, I guess it's easy to point the finger at some particular building or a particular group of people, but really it's everybody, and you need everyone to somewhat be on the same page to make those moves and try to improve things for the kids. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely. And Tim does a great job at Spring Valley. And Tim's exactly right. Unity is important. And the last Board of Control meeting, it really showed out the interest in our schools in serving their greater good. And sometimes their greater good may not be exactly what's best for your individual school, but we've got to take care of our entire body of schools and serve them all. And we've got to have a unified approach to that. And that was accomplished at the Board of Control. And I'm very happy about that, and very happy to now take over at a time where we've addressed some issues that were controversial and confusing and caused a rough year, but we're moving forward in a positive direction.
Yeah. Keith Morehouse and I, our sports director, on our last episode up here, we were just talking about the classification criteria, and that was such a mess last year, and I'm sure it was stressful to be in the thick of it, as you were. But the fact that adults got together and said, we are going to improve on this, I do think that says a lot. And, that classification criteria doesn't just pertain to football and the playoffs. It pertains to a wide swath of sports in West Virginia. You have to think that it's going to be a much smoother year, don't you think?
Well, I certainly do think so. You're exactly right. And, we've made some classification changes for several sports. We've had some sports that have expanded to 4 classes. Cross country, track and field have expanded to 4 classes. Soccer is expanding to 3 classes. And we've changed the name of our what used to be 2 class sports to divisions, Division 1 and 2, so that all schools are quad A, triple A, double A, single A across the board, unless it's a 2-sport activity, and then it's Division 1 or Division 2. So I think that will be less confusing for people also. So yeah, we're excited to be where we're at right now. We're in a 2-year cycle now. The Board of Control voted that we will reclassify every 2 years. So we're really going to be looking hard and evaluating during those 2 years and taking input from our coaches committees, from our membership, from our school leaders, and decide, is this best? Does this need tweaked? And we're going to continue to look for ways to improve what we deliver to our student athletes.
Yeah. I guess it's hard to speculate because we don't know what we don't know. I'm sure there are things that will work well that we haven't thought of, and things that may not work well that we haven't thought of right now because we just haven't run into those problems. But one of the things that people often mention is, the debate between 3 classes or 4 in some of these sports. And so you're telling me, hey, we're basically always going to be reevaluating every 2 years. Is that something that may be reconsidered at some point, or you feel like we like where we're at with the 4 classification system in some of those sports?
Well, I think you've always got to be open to improvement, and you've always got to be looking for ways to improve, and you've got to evaluate. And so I'm not going to say that 4 classes across the board is going to be a great thing. We're going to evaluate and see. I mean, West Virginia, the number of schools is declining. The enrollment in those schools is declining, but that's also created greater separation within our school ranks. So we have more classes, but we have fewer schools, and we have a greater level of separation. So that's what we have to try to blend together for the very best competitive balance and situation we can provide.
Yeah. All right. One of the things that I, of course, hear about all the time when I'm covering games or just talking in conversation in the newsroom, and I'm sure you hear it too, is just kind of the debate surrounding the transfer rules and the ability to transfer and whether or not it's too lax, it's too loose. I can hear both sides of the debate where it's like, who are we to tell a student athlete to not seek what they feel is a better opportunity for them? But on the other side, you might see a coach leave and go to another school, and the previous roster is decimated. And then you have kids from one community taking spots from others in another community. It just feels like a lot to digest. Do you hear that criticism a lot? And I guess what is your take on where we're at in terms of the transfer rules in West Virginia?
Well, obviously the landscape has changed tremendously since the transfer law went into effect, and it hasn't all been positive. There are times that might serve an individual student athlete better, but we have had some schools suffer because of the transfer law. We've also had people simply transferring for athletic reasons, which is not really what we're about as an education-based organization. So those concerns are there, but we're dealing with it the best we can. And the domino effect of how it impacted many other rules still apply. I think a lot of people don't understand, although you can transfer and be eligible, there's still a lot of other criteria that you have to meet in order to do that. And so that goes back to our educational process of educating the public and educating our school leadership that all rules of eligibility have to be met. But you can transfer one time, you cannot transfer back. And that's benefited some schools, obviously, but we're doing the best we can to deal with it within the framework.
Yeah. Now, this question, if I asked this to you 10 years ago, people would think I'm crazy, but I don't think anything's too crazy these days. You know, we see NIL and stuff at the college level, and a lot of times it trickles down into high school. Is that something that you worry about or fear? All of a sudden people are going to say, hey, we need this in high school sports, you know?
Well, I'm not going to say that we need it in high school sports, but I think it's inevitable to some degree that it will be in high school sports. We've just passed an NIL policy, and we'll continue to compare the NIL policy with our amateur rule and make decisions that are best suited for the students in West Virginia. But the NIL is not going to go away. It's just going to have to be, I think it's important at the high school level that it has some guidelines, because I think it's gotten out of control at the collegiate level, obviously.
It's a different game. I know that much. It really is. It puts some schools at an advantage. It puts others at a tremendous disadvantage. So I hope that, you know, it doesn't trickle down into the high school level and you know, kind of ruin it for what it is, because it is sports at its purest form, in my opinion, at the high school level. But hey, since we're moving into football season, wanted to ask you about this, because now that the state championships are in Charleston, I wanted to ask you how you think that went. And I know some people would love to see it rotate between Marshall and WVU. Kind of where are we at when it comes to the location of the state championships in football, and how did it go in Charleston this past year?
Well, it went well in Charleston, and obviously geographically and location-wise, Charleston's a good location. You can see that we had increased attendance to the event, and it's more central for everyone, for the teams involved. The people in Wheeling and the Super Six in Wheeling for those 30 years was tremendous. They did an absolute wonderful job. But in the transition to the first year of the event being moved to Charleston, they also did a great job in year one, and they're going to continue to improve it. They're already working on ways to improve it. So, you know, the football championships are exciting. They are in Charleston now for the next 3 years. They've been there 1 year, and they're going to continue to get better. We're looking forward to that and appreciate the efforts of both Wheeling, who hosted it for many years, and of Charleston now.
Yeah. Last question for you, and before I let you go, we are, you know, really 2-3 weeks away from the school year, and maybe some fall sports have already started. I know we're still a little bit further away from actual week one of football season, but what are you most looking forward to in your new role, and just seeing the memories that will be made and the accomplishments that will be won and earned? It's just a special time of year. Summertime, you know, once the baseball state tournament ends, you're kind of in this lull, and we're about to ramp it back up. So what are you most excited about?
I'm just excited about the fact we're getting ready to play games again. You know, the business of athletics, or the business of administrating athletics, comes with a lot of challenges, but sometimes it leans too much toward the business end. So I'm just thankful that we're going to be playing games, and we're going to have our student athletes out there competing again. And, you know, our staff will be out and about at those events, and, you know, we'll be making those lifetime memories and having those lifetime experiences and educational opportunities for our kids within the athletic realm. So I'm just excited that it's time for that, and we can get a little bit away from the business and a little bit more to what our business is all about.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Ryan, I appreciate you jumping on here with me and just sharing some of your thoughts and expertise. I'm sure I'll see you at some point, whether it's at a regular season game or the state championships, state tournaments, and all these sports. We'll certainly see you around. So I appreciate you jumping on here and sharing your story with our viewers.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you. And thank you for what you do in covering our student athletes. We greatly appreciate it.
It's sports. It's fun. I mean, anytime they want to let us do it, we will.
Play ball.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. All right, we certainly appreciate Wayne Ryan for carving out some time and joining us here on WSAZ Sports Plus, because I know it's going to get really busy for that guy when all these fall sports start happening all at the same time. I mean, if it's any indication how busy it gets just around here at WSAZ, I know he's going to have his hands full. So certainly appreciate him for joining us, sharing his story, sharing his expertise. Remember, you can watch this program on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. on the WSAZ app. So if that is on your phone, on your smart TV, any smart device that you have the WSAZ app, just get on there, click the app, pull up the live news streams tab, bang, there we are every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. As we get closer and closer to football season, you're going to see a lot more football content on here, both high school and college football, because we love all of it here at WSAZ. You'll see Keith, Jimmy, myself, Andrew Colgrove talking on here pretty regularly just about all of our local teams. If you are more of a sports talk radio guy and you like to listen to stuff on your way to and from games and work, that's how I roll. Remember, you can subscribe to our podcast. It's the same program. You just listen to it as opposed to watching it. And that's over on Apple Podcasts. If you have an iPhone, it's built into your phone, unless you've deleted the app. If you have, I'd encourage you to go over there and download that app and subscribe to us. And, of course, on Spotify as well. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can set your notifications up so where every time we post an episode, bang, there it is for you. A new episode of WSAZ Sports Plus. Pretty cool. Again, I'm a podcast listener. I just think it's awesome. You can, plug it into your car and put your AirPods in, whether you're cutting grass or doing anything else at the gym, and listen to us. Full episodes, though, if you are a person that likes to watch, always posted over on WSAZ.com. Go to the WSAZ Sports Plus tab. Also on the WSAZ News Channel 3 YouTube channel. Full episodes are on there as well. We encourage you to consume us in as many places as possible. And, of course, on social media, I'm easy to find at JPaytonTV on X, Joseph Payton WSAZ on Facebook. Post a lot of clips from the show over there. And then we have WSAZ Sports Plus accounts on all kinds of different social media platforms. So TikTok, Instagram, X, at WSAZ Sports Plus. It is easy to find, folks. Hey, football season's here. We're excited for it. We hope that you'll stick around with us this fall as we see all this stuff play out. Always an exciting time of year. So for now, we'll see you next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. right here in the WSAZ Now studio. This has been WSAZ Sports Plus.